All right, you guys. So this outline handout is meant to help you organize your thoughts for your essay on the Roman Empire. The first thing we want to do is we want to look at the prompt. How did the Roman Empire gain and maintain power over people and territories? This is the question we are being asked to answer in our essay, and we're going to use the DBQ as well as the Roman Empire lecture notes in order to answer this question. You are not allowed to use Google. You are not allowed to do outside research. Please only use the 2 items that I have given you. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to rephrase what this question means in our own words in this box here. Now, to type into these boxes, you double click and it'll open up in a drawing. And then I'll just click again and I'll be able to type. So what I'm looking at is rephrasing that question. How did Rome gain and maintain power over people and territories? So I'm going to type it out here so we can see it. How did the Roman Empire gain and maintain power over people and territories? Remember that we have these words called gain and maintain. And if we look at the DBQ packet, we can see that gain is getting it. How are they getting their power? And maintaining is keeping it. How are they going to keep their power and make sure that nobody else steals it? So maybe I'll start with that. How did the Roman Empire get and keep power over people and territories? Now I want to kind of emphasize more. So power, what do we mean by power? We mean how did they get and keep control, right? We mean control over other people and territories. How did the Roman Empire get and keep control over people and territories? And I think I want to rephrase this to be something along the lines of like the area, right? They had such a large empire. How did the Roman Empire get and keep control over their lands? There we go. I've rephrased the question. So I hit save and close. So what I have is, my new question is, how did the Roman Empire get and keep control over their lands? It is the same question I'm being asked, but I have proven, okay, I know what I'm being asked to do. So for the introduction paragraph, all we are going to do for right now is a thesis statement. And the good news is you already have your thesis statement from the thesis statement handout that we did in class on Tuesday. So I took a thesis statement that somebody else had typed, and they did a really good job. And it said, Rome was able to gain and maintain power over other people and countries by, number 1, building roads, number 2, destroying their enemies, and number 3, having good leaders. So somebody else typed this. I just kind of cleaned it up a bit. And if you feel like, you know what, hey, those are the reasons I want to use too, go right ahead. Please go ahead and use whatever I give you in this video to help you with your essay. So each of these reasons is going to be a paragraph in my essay. This is body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and body paragraph number 3. I'm going to do body paragraph number 1 with you. So my point is building roads, and I'm going to highlight that and copy it. And I'm going to go down to body paragraph number 1. So the claim is the mini argument that I will be discussing. It is 1 sentence, and it comes from the thesis statement, aka right here. Claim number 1. The first reason that Rome was able to gain so much power was because, and all I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to paste right there. But if I read this out loud, it doesn't quite work, right? The first reason Rome was able to gain so much power was because building roads. Well, let's clean it up a little bit. Was because they built roads, period. So now I have my claim. This is the topic of my first body paragraph. The first reason Rome was able to gain so much power was because they built roads. Now I need my evidence, a quote or a paraphrased fact that is going to support my claim. My evidence is going to come from my DBQ packet. And if I go down to source number 3, I have roads. And source number 4, I also have information on roads. So what I look at is, let's look at source number 3. So we have that in my answers, the map shows how all villages and towns were connected. The roads were able to be used for traveling. Roads are important because you have to be able to travel to all the areas that you own. Helps the emperor go places. The army can travel faster. I really like this answer here. So I'm going to take my answer from the DBQ. And what I'm going to say is I'm actually going to copy and paste this. But we're going to play around with it. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to paste. Now, that is a lot more than 1 to 2 sentences. So I want to narrow it down. So we want our evidence to be a quote or a paraphrased fact. So I think what I'm going to do is the sentence that starts with roads are important because, I'm going to get rid of that for now. So my evidence is that the emperor has to be able to go to the places he controls. The army will travel faster. And I think I'm going to get rid of this last part here because honestly, my evidence is good enough with just the emperor and the army. So those are 2 facts I just pulled from source number 3. Oh, and I'm going to make a note that this comes from source 3. Oops. The emperor has to be able to go to the places he controls. The army will travel faster since they can walk on roads instead of having to go through areas like forests, deserts, or mountains. So now I need to explain, why is this important? Well, guess what? That first sentence I wrote, it's important because, and I have it right there. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to paste here. Roads are important when trying to build and maintain an empire because you must be able to travel to all areas that you own. If the emperor or the army could not go to all areas under Roman control so easily, they would not have been able to keep their power. So here's what I have so far. The first reason Rome was able to gain so much power was because they built roads. An emperor has to be able to go to the places he controls. The army will travel faster since they can walk on roads instead of having to go through areas like forests, deserts, or mountains. Roads are important when trying to build and maintain an empire because you must be able to travel to all areas that you own. If the emperor or the army could not go to all areas under Roman control so easily, they would not have been able to keep their power. I have told you my first reason. I have given you some evidence, and I have explained why my evidence proves that roads are important. So, evidence, explanation. My explanation should be the same amount or a little bit longer than the evidence. You never want to have more green than blue. Blue should always outshine what you copy from others. At the end of my body paragraph, I must conclude with a closing statement and transition. So this is a statement that explains how my first claim has been proven correct, and it transitions to my new topic, to the next paragraph. Well, if I go back to my thesis statement, my next topic is about destroying their enemies, so I should remember that. In conclusion, Rome was able to keep its power because they built roads that tied all cities and villages together. I'm going to turn that blue. I want that. Oh gosh, where is the text color? I think it's here. There we go. And then I have my transition. However, that is not the only reason Rome was able to keep its power. So what we have is we have our question rephrased, a thesis statement that we copied from our own thesis statement handout, or from here. And then I have the first reason they were able to gain so much power was because of Rhodes, my claim. I got evidence from my sources, and I had an explanation of how my evidence was important to proving that I was correct. All paragraphs must end with that closing statement. You have to tell me how you have proven that you are correct, right? Why was this important? And then you move on to the next.